Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 113 of Carmela's Wrestling Radio Relived. And tonight we have a very bittersweet show. It is a sad event because it is a tribute to our friend Rich Ingling, who passed away recently. But it is the sweet part is because we're going to talk about what an amazing man he was. And we're going to introduce everybody here. We're kind of waiting for Brian Blair to come on, but we're going to introduce everybody. My co-host Jeannie. Hi, sweetie. How are you?
Hi,
Good to
Carm.
see you
Good. How
back
are you?
again.
Yeah. Oh, I wouldn't have missed this for the world.
I didn't think so.
Because I didn't know Rich long, only a little over a year, I would say, and met him through Joel. And I know I said this before on other podcasts that we had him on. He was a saint. He was a living saint. The man was the kindest, and his wife Cindy, just both were just the kindest, most compassionate, most just amazing. I got chills. Just the most amazing human beings that I ever met. Seriously, no, no exaggeration, no bull.
Absolutely. Yep. No argument here. Okay, we're going to introduce Joel Goodhart. Everybody knows Joel. Joel is a lifetime member of Cauliflower Alley. It's good to have you here, Joel. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, I wouldn't miss this for the world. I've known Rich for 40 plus years, and I miss him already.
Absolutely. Right below Joel is Barbara Goodish. She is the widow of Frank Goodish, who is also one of the best wrestlers that we have ever met, ever. Bruiser Brody, and it's so good to have you back again. You're part of our family now. You're like such a good part of it, and I love it when you're here. Thank you. How's your phone holding up?
It's good.
Okay. Next to her is Darla Skaggs. Darla, we only had you on our podcast one time so far, and I'm so happy that we met you. You are a amazing part of Cauliflower Alley and a very, very good person. So I'm so grateful to have you here as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for coming. And then we have these two beautiful young ladies here. We have Jennifer and Heather, who are Rich's daughters. I have to tell you, and I know everybody here will agree, I never met you at all until we started talking, but we knew who you were. We knew who the kids were. We knew everything about everything because Rich did nothing but talk about the family, the girls, the children, the grandchildren. They came all the way up here to go trick-or-treating with the kids. He did nothing but talk about those children as a grandparent would do, but he was like above average. He really was. He was like a very special person. And ladies, thank you so much, as I said before, for being so kind as to come on this show to talk about your dad so soon after he passed away. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Doing this.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So let's talk a little bit about how we got to know or meet Rich. If whoever wants to go first, jump right in.
Well, Joel would be the.
Yes.
I mean, other than the kids,
Yeah.
his daughters would be, as far as wrestling goes, that would be Joel because Rich was his referee.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, I actually met Rich back in the mid 80s. Rich was a referee in Bricktown, New Jersey. And back in the day, we had a bus trip from the Squared Circle out to Bricktown, New Jersey. And there he was in the first match that I met Rich on. And he was in the match, but Abdullah Butcher against Bruiser Brody.
Wow. Oh, my God.
Okay? And that was the first match. After that match was over, I met Rich in the back. We talked, and of course, as I got putting the Tri-State Wrestling Alliance together, Rich and I kept in touch. And Rich was on my first shows that I put together as Tri-State. And in fact, Rich was in one of the first shows Tri-State did. And as it turned out, last May 3rd, Rich was in the last show Tri-State ever did.
Wow.
So my professional career with Rich spans over 4 decades. And aside from the fact that he was a great referee, he was just a great person. He was great in the back. He was one of the boys. Everybody liked Rich. He had no enemies. none whatsoever. And when it came time to put a show on, Rich was all business, but Rich knew when the matches were over, it's time to relax. All he did, and I will say this in a nice way, Rich didn't shut up about his grandkids and his daughters, and it was unbelievable. He was just a great guy. We'll talk a lot about him, but for me, the history, I mean, we're talking 4 decades of history, on and off. It wasn't straight for 4 decades, but Rich was a pro. And I'm glad that one of the last matches he got to do was on the One and Done show last May.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome because we spent time with him that day as well. I met Rich through you, Joel, and he was on our podcast 4 times in total. And we pushed the heck out of Cauliflower Alley Club because you have to understand something, ladies. I do a podcast that is old school, and old school wrestling is a lot different than today's wrestling. The wrestlers from back then didn't get paid a lot. They didn't have anything like the guys do today. There was no health insurance. There was very little money they were paid. It just was horrific the way things were for them years ago. And this Cauliflower Alley thing actually brought help to a lot of wrestlers and people in the wrestling business who became destitute and or homeless or ill and who needed money for this or that, cell phones, mortgages, anything like that. And, Rich was part of helping these people. And it touched the heart of me and myself because that's what our podcast is predominantly about the old school wrestlers and what they went through and how they suffered so much in the past. And we sat here and talked to Rich, and there was times like where he could tell us a couple of wrestlers who gave permission, for him to tell us that they were helped by Cauliflower Alley. And of course, the ones who didn't give permission, he didn't say anything about. But the things that we were told that Cauliflower Alley as a whole, as a group, did for these wrestlers was unbelievable. And it wasn't just wrestlers, it's referees, it is managers, it is announcers, it was anybody who was in the wrestling field. And in my opinion, like your father, like Jeannie said, was just a saint. And it never even phased him. Like he never even turned his head to say, yeah, I do that. He was just never even thought about it. He just did what he did. He said what he said, and he just kept going. And he was so kind because Jeannie and I were trying to get up there last year, but the money situation just didn't happen. And Rich was being so kind to us. He was cutting us a break here and there, and we still couldn't do it. So we're going to try this year to be up there for the 60th because I'm sure it's going to be very commemorative for him as well. But I know Darla and Barbara, you guys worked with him on a regular basis. Before we go further, 1 second, I hear a noise. Does anybody have a TV on or something that's... No? Okay, I'm just asking because I didn't know if there was something that's banging in the background.
Yeah, I hear it too.
Yeah, so just speak up a little bit, okay? But Darla, you were going to say something.
Yeah, I want to tell how I first met Rich because it's kind of funny, but not really. So I think he was already on the board, but I had never met Rich before, and I think it was 2021. The person that was the treasurer, she was taking care of the banquet and stuff. She just up and quit like 2 or 3 weeks before the reunion.
Oh, wow.
And Barbara and I and a couple other ladies had already volunteered to help with registration. And so I think everything was just kind of dumped on Rich's lap.
Yeah.
And Cindy came with him that year. And so we met Cindy and Rich for the first time. And oh my gosh, nobody knew what they were doing. Rich didn't really know what to do. He knew what he had to do, but we were like, how are we going to get all this crap done? Well, we busted butts. We got everything done. Poor Rich, he was exhausted. and Cindy was a huge help to us. But that was our first meeting with Rich. And guess what? After that, we're still doing registration and more. He didn't let us go.
Oh my God. So there you got you were hooked then for the rest of your life. That was it.
Yes, so we're still doing it. And while we were out there that year, him and Cindy took us all out to dinner to show us how much they appreciated us. But yeah, Rich was something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah, especially when we went out to dinner. And I think who was sitting in the back of the van or something? Wasn't it Cindy got in the back of the
I
van?
think she did.
She was in the back while we were all squeezed into this little tiny. I think it must have been Richard's rental car or something,
Yeah.
if I remember. And I remember, Cindy, what are you doing in there? And I remember, and I said, you think back on all the good times. And it's like you were mentioning, Joel, about Rich refereeing Frank, and it was just amazing, especially Rich, kind of, Rich refereeing the match between Frank and Abby. And when somebody put that on, it kind of brought so much, knowing that they're both not with us anymore. And it's like I said, I reached out to your mum, and I said, just because I've gone through what she is going through right now, when it's very unexpected death and everything, and you can tell her to, if she ever needs to talk, I'm here to talk to her, because I know sometimes it's hard when you go through your grief. It can be very hard, and we're in a club that we did not want to belong to, so it's kind of like a bond, and you understand what somebody is going through. So I did reach out to her, and I told her, just remind her, anytime she needs anything to talk, I'm here for her.
Oh, that's sweet. That
Thank
is
you for
very
that.
sweet. Can we talk to you ladies a little bit about what kind of a dad he was?
Of course. Um, he was never tired, so that was weird to hear. Um, every time he had a new gig, whether it was wrestling alligators, which we pulled out some pictures, he would go and he was constantly bored.
Oh my
So
God.
he would always have a new job. So the one time we went to Florida to visit him, he's like, "Oh yeah, guess what? I got a job in Gatorland
Oh my God.
wrestling
Are you
alligators." So
wrestling alligators?
Oh
yeah,
my
that was him.
God.
Like
Oh
he
my
just
God.
decided, like, yeah. So he
Oh
always
my God.
had a new gig. He was a good dad. Our parents divorced, but he always came around for my high school graduation. He showed up and was like, "Look, I'm blonde too." Like he always had a joke, and um he was always funny. Like he had a limousine business.
Wow.
So for my prom, he gave us the worst limousine driver ever. And we had to call him on a payphone because we didn't have cell phones
Right.
back then. And he ended up picking us up from the prom. And he's like, "Okay, what are we doing now? We're going to go party." Who
Ah,
wants to go party with their dad?
I know.
But this was him in the limo.
Oh my
And
God.
he did he did a couple different things with that. I guess he did wrestling also. Like he used it, and we found this oldie but goodie in there. And I can't tell you who the wrestlers are. I don't think you can either. But I was so like happy because Cindy Lauper was in it.
Oh wow. Probably Wendy Richter. Can you put that a little bit closer to the computer? Oh no, we can see that.
Is it? Um, it it says free birds on the
Oh
I
my
back.
was just
God,
gonna say they
Freebird.
look like Michael
Yes,
Hayes, but I
Michael
can't really
Hayes.
make
Yeah.
out.
So,
Wow.
and it's him way back here. He was driving the limo,
Oh
and
my God.
we were so excited because it was Cindy Lauper, and he was like,
Yeah.
"What?" Like, we
He
Yeah.
was so excited about the wrestlers.
Of
We were
course.
excited about Cindy Lauper.
Cindy Lauper.
yeah,
Well, she was actually a part of the wrestling for a while. She came out with a lady wrestler whose name was Wendy Richter.
oh
And
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, she
she
came out with
actually
her.
he
Wow.
brought Wendy Richter. He brought her to my mom's house for one night. It was a Sunday night.
Oh
We were
wow.
having dinner, and this limo pulls up, and my mom is like, "I think your dad's here. A limo just pulled up." And it was Wendy Richter,
Oh my
and she was in
God.
the back, and I just came outside, and he was like, "Oh, I want you to meet somebody. She's the women's champion." And I was like, "Hi." I was like maybe 9 or 10, and I'm like, "Oh, that's cool," And you go to school on Monday, and you tell people, and they don't believe you.
Yeah,
I'm
of
like,
course. People never do.
yeah,
yeah.
it was just, he would just show up, and, it was, that was just who he was.
Wow. Well, it's funny you say that because I've been involved. We've all been around wrestling forever. And Joel and I think, have been involved the longest. But Wendy was one of when I was younger, one of my idols. Like, I absolutely loved her. And if I never had the opportunity to meet her, but if I ever had the opportunity to meet her, I think I'd cry. And in wrestling, that's called a mark when you are, about wrestling, but you still are a fan. So that's called being a mark. So I would be such a mark for her. And you got to meet somebody that I've never met. And I'm like gritting my teeth here because you're telling me about it. But so cool, so cool. She was amazing. She really was.
Yeah.
It's funny. Your dad, when he was on our podcast, like Rich or Joel said, he never shut up about you guys, which he never did. But your dad, God bless him, was such a talker. He could talk
yeah,
and
he was.
talk. And it's funny because like I'm sitting there in this podcast and I'm like, okay, I have a whole list of questions and I'm doing this and doing that. I think Brian just came back. But anyway, I didn't ever have to worry about it. He covered the whole show. Like, he just continued to talk. Hold on, we have Brian here. Hey Brian, hi.
Hi,
Hey,
Brian.
hey
Hi.
guys, I apologize. I apologize. I don't know why I could not get in. I'm trying and trying and trying and just couldn't get in.
It's okay. It's
Um,
okay. We still want you here.
anyway,
You're here now.
uh,
Okay, you're
hey,
still here.
hey, Joel. See you.
It's so good to have you.
Barbara.
Hi, Brian.
Barbara,
Hi,
Darla.
Brian.
You remember Jeannie, my
Hey,
co-host?
Barbara. Good to see you.
And then
Yes.
these young ladies are Rich's daughters.
Jennifer and Heather.
Jennifer
sorry?
and Heather, did you ever meet them?
No, I don't think so.
No. Okay.
Is that, oh, wow. No. I just saw lots of pictures because I'll tell you what, was the proudest grandfather in the world. And just loved his grandkids so much.
Oh yeah.
It's amazing what a wonderful human being. I'm sure you guys have this,
Yeah.
but there was no better guy. Call him Grandpops. Is that right? Grandpops.
Grandpa.
Grandpopsing.
Grandpa. Yeah.
He was definitely one of a kind. He definitely was
Yeah, he
one of
was.
a kind. And like I said, when he was on the podcast, I don't know if you remember, Brian, the last time you both were on, I was saying how Rich could just talk and talk and talk, God bless him. And I never had to even fill up any empty air, which was great. And it was amazing that he was.
I could listen to him for hours
Yeah.
and hours because
Yeah.
not only, but everything he said was so interesting and engaging, and I mean, just amazing, just amazing.
Well, we have a friend, a fan comes, that helps us out with our podcast a lot. His name is Chuck Langerman, and every
Oh,
time
we lost him.
wait, let's bring him back. Every time, here you go, Brian, you're back again. Every time we have a podcast, he does a lot of research and gives us a bunch of, information. Anyway, he sent me this picture. I don't know if you can see it behind me. It's a cauliflower, but your dad, he told me that your dad actually went to different schools to talk to children about drugs and things like that.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah,
I didn't
do
know
remember
that.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Can you
Yes.
tell
that.
us about that? Tell
When
us
he
about
was
that.
a police officer, he used to go and he actually came to Hainesport, which was our grade school, and he would be the one who would light the marijuana. I guess it would smell like it, and
Yeah.
he always had a story.
Yeah.
He did the whole "don't do drugs" thing. Um, yeah, that was, yeah, we were really popular in school.
Yeah.
Was he was he affiliated with the DARE program, the DARE, or no?
I,
Yeah.
I don't know. It was cringy.
yeah, it really was. He did that when we were younger. He did like a bike thing. We had to go out and like ride our bikes, and we got like this certificate.
Aw.
And yeah, but we were never allowed to win. Like it was like an obstacle course, and he was like, "You guys can't win." So
Aw.
it was horrible for us.
Yeah, I guess. Why not? You can't win.
Yeah.
But
I
see,
do
that's the
remember
kind of
that.
guy he was, though. He wanted to make sure other people had a chance. And that was because he knew he could give you what they might not have
Oh
had.
yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
exactly.
He was fun. Although when I was in Hainesport, I was on restriction for something, and he thought it would be funny to come pick me up in the police car. And
I love it.
so I don't know what I was in trouble for, but I never did it again.
Oh my God, that's funny. That is funny. Okay, here's a $64,000 question. What did your dad actually do for a living?
Oh, jeez.
He did everything.
Let's see. Investigation and Polygraph Service,
Yeah.
IPS.
Oh my
He was
God.
a cop,
Risk management,
risk management, Gator Wrestling,
Disney security.
Disney Security, Pleasure Island Security.
Yes, he was
Oh
an
my God.
MP
Uh,
in the military, the army.
yeah, Fremont Street
Yeah.
in Vegas. There was the airport security book thing.
There was also that place in Florida, that place that he did like risk management for. He was hilarious. Like he was always
Yeah,
doing
Republic Services in Vegas. He did that. Yeah, because we were helping Cindy with his obituary, and she was like, "Oh, we got to write down everything he did," and I'm like, Cindy,
like
it's a lot.
every time he
Wow.
turned around, he did do. He had another thing.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
crazy.
And our phone calls would always start out with, "I'm okay. I just want to let you know."
Oh my God, I can only imagine. He
We
was
could write a book.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
probably should. Yeah, that's great. Brian, let's talk to you before you get cut off again. How did you meet Rich? And tell us your story about Rich.
I met Rich over 40 years ago. And Rich liked wrestling, and I met him. I don't remember if it was a show that he was refereeing, or what, because he also worked at Disney. He was the head of security at Disneyland in Orlando. And
Wow.
so anyway, he invited my wife and I to Disney World, and or what is it, Orlando? Disneyland, Disney World, Disney World.
Disney World.
Disney World is in
Disney World,
Florida. Yeah,
yes.
Disney World.
Yes, Disney World. And forgive me, it's been a while since I've been there. We had the best times. And Rich took like Hulk Hogan, who was my best friend, and Rich became one of my best friends in the world. But he took so many of the wrestlers, and they all loved Rich. because Rich was so nice to everybody. Not only did they not have to wait in line, but he'd, wind up taking them to lunch or to dinner or whatever the case might be. Um,
Wow.
both Brooke and Nick Hogan really said nice things about Rich, and uh, my kids loved him and Cindy. Cindy was just so patient because I had kind of like two Dennis the Menaces.
Yeah.
Oh,
My little boys, when our little boys were little, they were like two Dennis the Menaces, and they were
Oh.
just, pull the dog's tail or whatever.
Yeah, he struck me as somebody who was very, very patient just by the way he spoke. He had this very long, drawn out conversation all the time. And it's just like nothing bothered him. He was so calm. And he was, like when I was talking to him on
unless he
May
was
3rd for the
hungry.
show. Wait a minute. What was that?
I was like, unless he was hungry. Yeah, that.
He
Oh,
could
did
get a
he get,
little hangry.
he got hangry? Yeah. I want to eat and I want to eat now.
Yeah.
God bless Cindy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
did look
Cindy-
through some of his memories today, and we did find this one.
Can you put it a little closer?
Oh, it's Brian.
Oh my God, Jim and
Killer
Brian.
Bees.
Oh my God, the Killer Bees.
Yeah.
Wow,
sweet.
that's
That's an
awesome.
oldie but a goodie, huh?
It
Oh,
sure
thank
is.
you.
This was him with Larry Sharp.
Oh wow,
Who,
okay.
yeah, he owned the Monster Factory.
Yep.
And fun fact, we used to go for Sunday dinner at Larry Sharp's,
Oh, my
and
goodness.
I out ate Larry Sharp
She did.
on spaghetti.
Oh my God, are
I
you
had more
kidding?
bowls of pasta, and Larry, I remember him saying, Rich, like, what is up with this kid? And I was like, I love pasta. It
Oh
was
my
just, I
God.
loved, oh my God, he was just so great to me. And I have a picture actually at home of me and Larry Sharp. And like, I was like 7 or 8. I think my buttons are unbuttoned on my jeans.
Wait a minute, wait a minute. You out ate Larry Sharp
Yeah.
at 7 or 8 years old for pasta?
I
God
sure did.
almighty. How did you stay thin? How did you really
I-
stay thin?
I don't know.
She
I
stopped
I
coming to
look at
dinner
food and
over
I gain
there.
weight.
Yeah, pretty
I just
much.
look at it. I look at it and it's like, all right, here we go. That's crazy. God bless you. My God, I would
I
never.
loved Larry Sharp. He
was wonderful. He really was.
He
He
was
was a
so
very
good
good
to
man.
us.
He was a very good man.
I loved him.
That is
Aw.
that is a name from the past, Larry
Yep.
Sharp. I remember Larry because Frank worked with Larry too, and we all went to, I think it was St. Thomas, and Larry was there. And I remember, so yes, you're just bringing back a lot of memories that
Yeah.
have been put aside for so long. The Monster Factory. Thank
Yep.
you. That's it. Yeah.
Larry was a great guy. He really was. God bless him. And as a matter of fact, Jeannie and I were trying to get a hold of the man who now runs the Monster Factory. He took a little bit of a hiatus right now, but we're trying. Jeannie and I have been putting something in motion where we want to visit some of the local schools, wrestling schools, especially for the independent wrestlers, because we wanted to explain to them about Cauliflower Alley while your dad was on one of our podcasts. And, he was going to send us, which we have to still get, Brian, maybe you or one of these young ladies can send it to us. We were going to take some brochures and things like that and explain to the kids, the young people, the men and women that are becoming wrestlers, that they should join as well, because you never know somewhere down the road, what could happen. And Brian, you can attest to this. I was telling everybody here that, years ago, everybody had to like fend for themselves. It wasn't anything like it is today. Years ago, everybody crawled pretty much in and out of arenas. They didn't all have vehicles. They certainly didn't have an agent. They didn't have anybody to show them where to go. And that's just how I got involved in wrestling, because my mom and dad were there. They were involved years ago. They used to all come to our house. My mom would just say, you have to go here or there or whatever, because it was local. Everything was territories back then. And my mom would take all the wrestlers to my house. She'd cook dinner in the middle of the night. They'd eat, they'd sleep there. And then the next day we'd bring them to wherever they had to go. And that's what it was like back then. And I was telling the ladies here that these are the wrestlers and the people in wrestling that have had a lot of misfortunes over the years, right, Brian?
Oh, absolutely. The guys, put it in perspective. Um, my best years, I was making about $250,000 a year, and the person in my position now is making over $2 million a year.
Exactly. Yep.
So there were times when I didn't make $50,000 a year. So, um, it was a lot of sharing, car rides, sharing,
Yeah.
uh, whatever we could, to make things more efficient. And um, we had a lot of friendly people like your mother, uh, that Carmela, that fortunately that enjoyed wrestling, and they were happy to cook for us just for our company. So
Yeah.
we'd tell them wrestling stories in exchange for food. So,
Yeah, yeah,
and
it's
sometimes
crazy. I
lodging.
know. It was so good. And then again, I'm probably going back further than you are right now, but I remember years ago with Spiros Arion and Tony Parisi and Gino Brito and the like back there, sometimes they made $25
Hmm.
at a night at a wrestling match or $50. That was a lot. And these wrestlers had to send money back home and they had to eat. They used to eat out of cans and they used to, like Brian said, yeah, share and hang out as much as possible, sleeping in cars. And the people who are wrestling fans today can't even fathom that something like that could possibly happen today. And your dad was right in the mix of all that. And that's what Cauliflower Alley does. Cauliflower Alley does what we did in a way or another. And Brian, tell
Let
us
me.
tell us how you got involved in Cauliflower Alley.
Well, first I'd like to say this, if you don't
Okay.
mind, Carmela.
No, go ahead.
Nobody taught me how to save money more than Frank Goodish, Bruiser Brody, Barbara's
Okay.
husband. And one of the wildest matches I've ever seen, Rich Ingling was the referee between Frank Goodish and Abdullah the Butcher.
There you go, Joel.
And
Another one.
you can see that on YouTube. I don't know if you girls have seen that match,
Yeah,
uh,
that's
but it's a wild match. And your dad just wrestled for Joel Goodhart right here with us, at
Hmm.
the one and done. And I said, Rich, please don't get hurt. Whatever you do, don't get hurt.
we said that
We
too. We were there. We were there.
My heart stopped when I saw him take that bump off the ring. I was
Uh,
like, oh dear God in heaven, what, like,
Ours
you know,
did too.
and yeah, and it was just like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And he was fine. He was like, I remember him telling me, I'm like, are you okay? Are you okay?
tuck
And then
and roll. Tuck and
Yeah.
roll.
and he was like, it's a lot higher than I remember.
Joel, did he have any comments to say to you about that night when he
Oh
took
yeah,
that bump?
well, he said that what made the ring 2 feet higher than it used to be. It wasn't me.
No.
What was amazing, we're in the process, not me, but they're in the process of putting together a documentary on the Tri-State Wrestling Alliance, and we're going to have the world premiere, if you will, scheduled for July 12th, and Rich is obviously in there. One of Rich, just for me, I mean, spanned my almost my whole career in one way or the other. So even with Abby and Brody in that first match that I met him at Bricktown, New Jersey, then one of the first matches Carmela, you and I actually promoted, the main event was Bruiser Brody against Abdullah the Butcher.
Yeah.
And
That was at Valley
both
Forge.
those guys in the back, Brody was hilarious. He said to me, "What do you want?" And I said to him, I said, well, Carmel and I, we just want you to make a match that we'll talk about 30 years from now. Well, here we are, 40 years from now,
Yeah.
talking about it.
Talking
And
about it, exactly.
the one nice thing that I remember about that, and I have proof somewhere in a briefcase, at the end of the night, the match occurred at the Sherton Valley Forge out here near Philadelphia. Long story short, about a week afterwards, I got a bill in the mail for $2,800. Now, keep in mind, this is back in the mid-'80s, late early '80s, for $2,800 for damaged tables and chairs. Brody and Abby ruined so many tables and chairs. We wound up losing money that night because whatever profits we made, we had to cover the bill for the broken chairs and tables.
Yeah.
But
Oh gosh.
and
Yeah.
what was amazing for me when Rich came to the wrestling school. Now he was very involved, obviously, with Larry Sharp and the Monster Factory. But when we had the Tri-State Wrestling, the Ringmasters Wrestling School, we had John Finnegan and we had Joe Zanoli, we had Jim Molyneux, we had Rich Ingling, and these guys would come in. Rich would work as hard as anybody, and he wasn't really technically affiliated with the school. When Rich is there, Rich put on that uniform, he put on the outfit, he was a referee. Rich was a professional. I mean, you want to come up with one word to just put Rich in the map. It's the word professional. He was professional from an administration standpoint. When he I'll go one more step and I'll shut up. Last year, I was very fortunate down at the Cauliflower Hour Club that I received the Courage Award. And I asked Rich if he would be my presenter. So Rich comes to me a day or two before and he says, "Okay, what do you want to talk about?" And then Rich, for 30 minutes, didn't shut the hell up. He told me what I did my entire career. He had all his notes. He had it all written down. And he did his little presentation. He knocked it down to 5 minutes. He didn't put everybody to sleep. But that's also going to be part of the film, of the documentary. Rich handing off that award to me. Little did I know that within a year, I mean, here we are coming up to the 1-year anniversary of that show, and Rich is not here.
Well, I
Well,
said earlier. Go ahead. Go ahead, Brian.
Me inspired now, and I didn't really that you promoted that show that Rich is on, but I'm going to make it announcement. We've discussed this with the board, and we were going to wait to announce this, but since there's nothing more precious to Rich than his family, especially his granddaughters, I want you guys to know that we are going to name, and Joel, I want you to know, since you were the last recipient of the Courage Award, that award will now be known as the Rich Ingling Courage Award.
Oh my God.
Cauliflower.
Wow. Oh my
Fantastic.
God.
That's awesome.
Brian, that is amazing. I got a chill too. My God, that is
I'm
amazing.
crying.
Wow. Oh my God, there couldn't be a better honor in his name. There couldn't be. Wow, that's amazing. God bless you. Girls, I don't
And
know.
actually, I'm not going to. One of our board members, David Lawson, suggested it to me, and I really thought about it, because it's a big deal to name an award after somebody, because that's a forever thing.
Yeah.
Not a 1 year. That's a forever thing. The way the Cauliflower Alley Club does it. So we all got together and made the decision. Yep, Rich has worked so hard. He absolutely deserves this, and we're going to do it. So at the 60th reunion, it will be the Rich Ingling Courage Award.
Wow.
Joel, I thought you would appreciate that as well, Joel.
Fantastic.
That is amazing. Are you ladies going to be able to be there, do you think?
I would love to.
Yeah, I will
Well-
try. I'm not a good flyer.
I am. Fly me anywhere.
I'll try.
Yeah, we
I'm
would.
sure,
Yeah. Go
Well,
ahead.
I'm
you know,
sure he'll be up there.
and the last thing I just like to say, because I have to go, I didn't know that I was going to have this much interference, and I thought that
It's okay.
we would just about be wrapping up here. And I have my attorneys waiting on me about a very important matter. So
What'd you do, Brian? What'd you do?
no, it's all good on my
Okay.
end. So I just like to say that it was an honor to know Rich, to work with him. Nobody worked harder at the Cauliflower Alley Club. I've been the president for 13 years. Nobody in the history of all the board members, and nobody has worked harder than Rich Ingling has. His name will now live forever with the Courage Award. And we love you, girls. We appreciate you. Again, your grandfather thought the world of you. And it's very difficult each day getting by without Rich. But we know he's here right now with us in spirit, keeping us strong.
Absolutely.
So thank you, Carmela. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you guys so much for
Oh,
having this
are you kidding?
podcast.
This is an
Thank
honor.
you.
It's an
Thank
honor.
you.
Thank you,
you.
Brian, for taking
Bye,
time out of
Brian.
your
And
day to
thank
come and
you
join
for
us.
all that you do as well.
And that's
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you for being you and being who you
We'll
are.
do some more stuff and we'll get you some flyers as well. Okay.
Yeah, please. I
Talk to
sent you an
Darla,
I
Barbara.
sent you an email, just not to cut you off, but I sent you an email. Look at it when you have a chance, okay?
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Thank
I'm
you
sorry.
guys.
Bye,
Thank
Thank
Brian.
you.
you.
Thank
Talk to you
you.
later. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
There's a guy who's a great guy, let me tell you. God bless him, And when you have somebody like a Brian Blair giving so many accolades to Rich, he's the type of guy that if Rich didn't earn it and he didn't deserve it, he would not do that. I mean, from what I know of Brian, okay, he's a very upfront, straight shooter guy. He doesn't pull any punches. He doesn't blow smoke. Okay. If he didn't
Absolutely.
absolutely mean everything he said, number one, he wouldn't have come. He would have made up an excuse. And number two, he would have never spoken the way he did. So please know that everybody in this arrangement here, I was going to say room, but everybody here loved your father
Yeah.
beyond words. Okay. And we probably could have gotten more people to come on, but unfortunately we can only fit so many people in the slot here. But Darla and Barbara, if you have anything more to add, because I know you guys like literally worked with him day in and day out.
So, yes, I do. So, Rich and I being on the executive board together, we talked at least every other day, sometimes every day, or we'd be texting. And, everybody has been talking about granddaughters and stuff, but he also has a grandson. And which one is
Yes,
which one is Will's mom?
I am.
Oh my God.
God, why didn't you say something
He
sooner?
was when
Yes.
Will played up at Cooperstown, the baseball fame, because I had been there on a vacation, so I knew a little bit about everything up there. Rich called me when they got back. He told me all about it. He told me about it before he went. He was so excited to be going. And he
Aw.
did not stop talking about Cooperstown and Will and the baseball. And I'm like, Rich, yeah, that's really cool. But he loved that trip, and he loved all the grandkids. He told me another time, we used to our name badges for cauliflower. They used to be this little flimsy piece of paper, and they used to go in this little flimsy plastic thing. And Rich printed them all, and it took me about 3 years to convince him that we needed to put a little bit more money into it and get nice badges for the people. But anyway, before we did that, he had told me, he says, Darla, this is just a pain in my butt to put these together. And I don't know which of the grandkids he had helping him, but do you remember this?
Yeah, they charged them $20 each.
Oh my God, yes,
He said, Darla, I was going to give him $5 a piece. He said, they charged me $20. I said, well, Rich, maybe you should have went along with my idea.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
It was hilarious. He was like, well, I was going to give him $5 and they charged me 20.
Oh
yeah,
my God, that sounds so much like Rich. It really does.
Not only was he compassionate and loved wrestling, but he did not love wrestling more than he loved his family. Let me tell you, because he was always talking about you guys. And little Malia, he'd send me pictures of Malia. He'd send me pictures of the kids. And I talked to Cindy the other day, and I asked her, I said, how's Malia doing? And she said, well, she's doing okay. She said, when when Rich got that dog, I told Rich he was the one going to take care of her. And she said, and look at me now. She just follows me everywhere.
There you go.
Wow.
Does.
That's
Does.
crazy. He was now. Let me ask you a question. Your dad was born and raised in New Jersey.
Yes.
Okay, and then he went to Delaware and then Florida, or how does that work?
Oh my
He went
goodness. So
to
he was born in Burlington, New Jersey, lived locally, South Jersey, went to Florida
Okay.
first, then had a short stint in New
New
Orleans,
Orleans,
Oh wow.
Oh, I
Okay.
didn't know about
then
that.
I
I
think
didn't
went
either.
Las
back to
Vegas,
Florida, then went to Las Vegas, then
and
back
back
to
to
Florida,
Florida.
and now in Delaware.
Wow. He really ran the ropes there, didn't he?
It was as
God.
soon as he got the house finished and everything was perfect, he'd want to move.
Yeah.
You
Your
know,
dad
God
seemed like the
bless
kind of guy who
Cindy.
couldn't sit still in one spot. Like he had so much energy. You
and
could
that's
see that.
it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it. And even when he was in Florida, he was one of the people who went on the Disney fair. So he traveled around with them. They had a hot air balloon and he
God.
called the one time and of course the conversation was, "I'm okay." And then it went into I Mickey Mouse almost killed me.
Oh my
Apparently
God.
there was a hot air balloon, and they took him up in the hot air balloon, Mickey, and something happened. It caught the wire, and he said he had to hold on to the tank. And it ended up in the local paper in like Wisconsin or wherever it was. Like, so there was always
Something. There's
Oh
always a
my God.
story.
Your life had to have been so exciting. I mean, it had to have been. I mean, you really should write a book. I mean, how do you put into
Yes.
words like everything that happened? And he was the epitome of a family man and someone who loved his family. Like everything he ever spoke about was family, family, family. My kids, but the grandkids, forget it. And I'm going to tell you something. By allowing him to be a part of those kids' lives, you have no idea what you did for him. And I'm going to say this very quickly, and I know I probably shouldn't say it, but I have one grandchild that I'm not allowed to see. Okay.
No.
So I adopt other people's grandchildren, and I'm like, oh, you're my grandchild. Okay, I'm going to give you something, and I buy them little toys and this and that, and it's so horrific and heartbreaking. Okay, and like I said, you have no idea what kind of joy you guys let your father have by letting him have such a big part of their lives. Trust me when I tell you that.
my daughter, I think, is just she's graduating from high school in June. And she was so excited because grandpop was close and he was going to be able to come to graduation.
Oh,
And she lost her other grandfather right before Halloween. So
oh,
it's been a long couple
wow.
months. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it
sorry.
has, and it's a shame because no kid should go through that. It's very difficult at any age for a child to go through stuff like that. That's horrible. That's
And
horrific.
thank God he didn't suffer. Um, he lived life his way. He tucked
It was
and
a,
rolled and
it was a big life.
Yeah, I can hear. I think the better question is not what did your father do, but what didn't he do? I think it's better that way to ask it. Oh my God,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Now, and just bear with me here. He was always healthy, your father? I mean, it didn't seem like he was sick at all.
well, he wouldn't tell you if he was sick. His little things were when he was in New Orleans. I guess I can tell these stories now, right? When he was in New Orleans, he called and said, "Never get a colonoscopy in New Orleans." And I'm like, okay, because apparently, and they nicked him.
Oh,
And he didn't know, and his secretary had to send it.
Cindy. Poor Cindy. God, I
Wait a minute. His secretary had the what?
Call Cindy.
to come and
My
fly in
God.
and
Oh
yeah.
my God.
And then when they were in Florida, we got the okay. I'm okay, but they were in Sam's Club, and he was like, Cindy didn't believe me. She thought I was making a joke because he was walking funny, and he went home and I guess went to work, and Cindy told him, his arm wasn't working right. And the secretary that he had there, his poor secretaries, told him he should go to the doctor. So he drove himself,
Oh wow.
and he had had a small stroke.
Oh my God.
And he recovered completely from that.
Mhm.
Um, but he wasn't going to leave his car at the airport. And that was he in Vegas, or
I don't
I think he
remember.
might have been in Vegas for that one. But the phone call was, I'm okay. And he was going to drive regardless. Like,
Wow.
he
man.
just, he
What a
would come
guy.
and visit us and have a list of, I need to get a Philly pretzel,
Veal
Oh
veal
yeah.
parm.
Veal Parm Diner, New Jersey Diner Veal Parm.
Right. Okay.
Yep. A good cigar.
Good scar, yes. Which Amazon delivered after his passing. And
Oh.
Cindy, as a little like, it actually did make her smile that his Amazon packages were still coming after, he
Oh.
had passed away. So, a good cigar, sangria, wine,
Yeah.
his oldies, Frankie Valley. These were just,
Yeah.
Things, and I can still hear him in the car screaming Frankie Valley and doing the ooh.
Oh my
yeah.
God. He was, who he reminded me of, believe it or not, and I've never said this to anybody, but now that I'm thinking of that picture that's behind me, and I looked on the internet and everything, and I saw when he was younger and all that, he reminds me a little bit of an actor named, oh my God, I just forgot. And I love him. Wait a minute. Oh my God, it just left my head.
What movies was he in or TV
Oh
shows?
my God, Jeannie, he's so gorgeous. He's got the mustache with the long hair. Sam Elliott.
Sam
He
Elliott.
reminds me of Sam Elliott a little bit. I can't believe
Aw.
I love Sam Elliott. I can't believe I couldn't remember that name. If you look up Sam Elliott, you'll understand what I mean. Because your dad always had like the dark facial hair, but the rest of his hair was white. And Sam Elliott does that too. And he just has that really like slower way of speaking and all that. And like your dad, like I didn't know all these things obviously about him from what he did and how energetic and exciting he was and how much he wanted to keep going. And God bless him because he touched so many people, and every person he touched was never the same after that. He just left an indelible print on
Yes.
your heart just from meeting him. And I wanted to ask you another question, and if this is not uh, a good question to ask at this time, or if you don't want to answer it, that's fine. But do you have any plans yet on a service?
So no formal plans, but we intend to do a celebration of life. That's what he wanted. He did not want any service. He wanted essentially a
Party.
celebration of his life, a
Celebration, yeah.
party, some good eatings, as he would always
Good
say.
eats, yep.
Some good eatings, drinks, cigars, just everybody hanging out, sharing stories. Those
Yeah.
were the things he enjoyed doing with
Mm,
people. So, of course, in his memory, you would want to do something similar.
yeah.
Is it going to be a private? The reason I'm asking you is because we have listeners who listen. Is it going to be a private affair, or will it? Can we
I,
mention it?
I think when it's set, I definitely don't think it's going to be private. I think
Yeah.
Cindy, we had spoken to, said, of course, people are going to want to come and, give, share their stories and
Absolutely.
experiences. And, he did so many things and, he had so many connections that I think people would be interested to come and, celebrate his life. It was a big life.
Absolutely. Well, that's why I didn't want to be disrespectful, but that's why I asked, because like I know even the people who saw him on our podcast, we did a lot of talking, about Cauliflower Alley Club with him. And I just wish we had an opportunity to do more while he was still with us, because he loved so much what he was doing in the Cauliflower Alley Club. Like it was so important to him. And you didn't have to be a rocket scientist to see that. You know what I mean? He loved it. He loved everything about it. He loved these beautiful ladies that are here with us. He loved everything that he could possibly do. And he was so grateful for the opportunity to be able to help people. And even the ones that like he couldn't tell us about, he was so excited and so grateful. And these wrestlers and the people in wrestling have gone through some very difficult times. And it's such a blessing to know that he was one of the people responsible, along with Darla Skaggs, and along with Barbara Goodish, and along, of course, Brian Blair, but to help these people be able to have food again, or to be able to have a bill paid, or to be able to have a cell phone, or to be able to have a meeting with
Mortgage
their
payment,
family, mortgage payment.
funeral
Exactly.
arrangements,
Yeah.
or whatever
Yeah.
was, yeah. Now, Darla and Barbara, I mean, I don't know if you can announce it, or even if there's some, but I'm assuming there's going to have to be 10 people to take the place of
Oh,
Rick, with
definitely.
everything that he did. But is there any thought of what's going to happen?
Well, right now,
I
what
don't know if you
we
can announce or not. If you can't, that's
oh no,
fine.
no,
Yeah.
no, no, it's fine. So we have somebody in mind to bring onto the board, but I can't say who that is because we're still
Right.
waiting.
Right.
However, I have taken on the treasurer position. We don't, as long as things are covered, we don't have to necessarily have an EVP right now. We can, so I think what we're going to do is get our spots filled, and then later on in the year, decide what we're going to do with that, because we have a lot of other stuff that is important to get done as soon as we can. Like, I have just this week, I've probably worked on, probably about 12 hours on just going through emails and getting new spreadsheets and stuff for reunion tickets. So we're doing that. We have to respond to people. We've got the hotel that Rich took care of. We have somebody, it was him and Brian. We have one of our board members has went on that. So the board that we have now currently, they're kind of all taking little bits and pieces to help with what Rich was doing. And of course, none of us are going to do it as good as Rich does.
No.
I can tell you that right now, because I've worked very closely with Rich, and some of the stuff that I'm seeing, I'm like, oh my God, Rich. And, I'm sure there are probably things that Rich did that we didn't even, I mean, good things that Rich did, little things that we didn't even know he was doing. And we're not going to know it until somebody yells at us for not doing it. And let me tell you, there will be people yelling at us.
Yes,
I
there
say,
will.
yeah, Rich did this all the time. Now, Barbara, let me ask you something. Are you going to be doing anything other than registration now?
I'm going to be there. I'm going to be the workhorse. Anything that's needed, I will
He's
be
gonna
told.
do whatever Darla tells her.
Whatever, darling. Hey, darling.
Oh my
I'm
God.
the workhorse. I'm the right hand. I was going to say man, but the right hand woman, and whatever is needed, I'm
Barbara helps
there.
a lot.
Yeah, I'll be there right next to her helping out. But just nobody can take Rich's place.
No.
It was just amazing what he would do. Anything you needed, anything you wanted, it was like right away he would do it and do it with a smile on his face. And just nobody is going to be able to replace him.
God
And
bless.
I don't think anybody can say, how you doing? Like
How
Rich.
you doing?
How you
Maybe
doing?
the girls can. Can you girls say
Can
it?
you say it?
How you doing?
There you go.
Very
And
good.
every
Very good.
time you would call, did he do this to you guys? Hi.
How you doing?
Yeah.
That's funny. How about you, Joel? Did he ever say that to you?
He said it to me all the time. Are you kidding? It was always great to hear his voice on the other end of the phone.
Always. And I used to write, like, whenever I texted him, sometimes I'd send him this text about like this long, and just stupid stuff like, well, this happened and then this, like, especially for the May 3rd show, and this is da. And all of a sudden I'd get this really big thumb. That's it. No answer,
Oh,
nothing
he
else.
did
Just
that
this
a lot.
really big thumb. Yeah. And it'd be like, yes. And I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. I sent you 3 pages and I get this thumb, And he's like, I got it all. No problem. We're good. He said, if I didn't agree with you, I wouldn't have given you a thumb. And I'm like, all right, Rich, But he was so grateful that we had him on our podcast, and it was such a pleasure. It was such a joy to have him on here. And oh God, I don't know. Like, it breaks my heart that, in a way it breaks my heart because it's not going to happen again. But in another way, I'm grateful that he was here 4 times. And he, like I said, he did not need any coaching. He did not need any edging. He just went right on and took up the whole show. He really did. He did a great job.
And we can always replay those too.
Yeah, we can replay those. That's perfect. That might be a good idea, Jeannie, to do one week when we want to do an extra podcast or something,
Yeah.
So that might be a really good idea. The girls got knocked off, and I think they're coming back. So let's see here. All right, give them a minute. Okay, there you go. We were talking about, excuse me. We were talking about, actually, Jeannie came up with a good idea of actually maybe us on a week that we want to do an extra podcast, maybe replaying the podcast that your dad was on with us. And if you have not seen, obviously, I don't think you've seen them, but they're on YouTube, and I can always send them to you if you like. And then you can see what he said and how great he was. It was unbelievable. I'm going to ask everybody if you all want to make a statement or a final statement so we can, give Rich the love that he deserves. Anybody want to start?
I'll go. I know I met him twice, both at Joel's, one at Joel's house, and then at the May 3rd show. And I was honored enough we were all staying at the same hotel and taking him from the hotel to the 2300 arena and then back. I was kind of his little taxi driver, him and Cindy. And again, we hung out at the hotel the night before, and it was just so. He really, like I said, he was a saint. I can't overstate that enough. He was just such a kind, compassionate, wonderful man that truly touched me. That I didn't realize. Right, thought nobody's that good. Nobody's that good. You know what I mean? But he had such a good soul and such a good person. It was just an honor to meet him, even though it was, I didn't really know him long, but it was an honor to know him. It really was.
Thank you, Jeannie. Joel?
Yeah, I'll tell you, my one lasting memory of Rich goes back again to Vegas. when the Cauliflower Alley all left town. Unfortunately, I didn't because I was admitted to a hospital out in Las Vegas. And I was in hospital for 6 days because I wound up with cellulitis in my left leg. Anyway, long story short, every day that I was in the hospital, Rich calls me on my cell phone just to check in to see how I was doing. Some of those days he was in Vegas wrapping his business up. Some of the days he actually got home. But every day Rich called. And I remember coming back to Philadelphia, flying back. Rich, of course, called me just to make sure that I got home in time and safe. That's who Rich was. That builds on what Ginny was talking about just now. He was a saint. I think that's the perfect way to describe him. Not only was he a good friend, not only was he a colleague, he was a professional, but he was a saint. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
And Joel's Jewish, by the way. So he agrees with you. Your father was a saint. Okay,
Yeah.
Barbara.
No, there was just something so special about him. And I know when I was at the One and Done, he brought the grandkids over to introduce them to me. And I could see how proud he was of them. And all I can say is he is just going to be so missed because he was so loved by so many people. And there's never going to be another person that's even going to come near to take his place. And now I am what Brian said about naming the award after him. That is just, I think I can't even say, I'm just about lost words. That is so special. So you had, and I know at times when we would talk, he would like to talk about my late husband and the matches. And they were always, as Joel knows, they were kind of weird matches. Oh, Joel, I don't owe you any money, do I?
No.
You know,
No.
but your
He
dad
earned every penny. He earned every penny.
okay. But as you said, your dad, Rich, would love to talk about some of those matches that he refereed between my late husband. So maybe they're both up there. Who knows? There's a whole ring up there in the sky right now. So
Oh, absolutely.
we love you. And there's nothing after I lost my husband. I lost the wrestling family. And then years later, I found the wrestling family, and there's nothing like the wrestling family. And I hope that you can come to Vegas or come to one of the events to just see what it is like to be in the wrestling family.
Yeah, we're trying again. We're trying this year. I mean, the money's a little tight, but we're trying. And if you ladies can go, yeah, especially now that it's going to be 60 years. But the Courage Award, I think, out of all the awards that are given, the Courage Award is the perfect award to have Richard's name on it.
Yeah.
Darla?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You know, I miss Rich so much. Like I told you earlier, we talked at least every other day. But what I think a lot about is when Rich called me and told me him and Cindy were moving to Delaware, I'm like, Rich, are you serious? You're getting away from the Florida and you're going to move up there where there's lots of snow? He said, yeah, we'll be with the girls and the grandkids. And I'm just, and when Rich and
The
Cindy,
voice is off. Can anybody hear us?
What?
I can hear you. I just don't see you.
Yeah, I don't see Jen
No,
or
I don't see
Heather.
the girls either. No, but
I can hear them, but I can't.
Yeah. Are
see
you
them.
there, girls? Let me take them off and put them back on real quick. No, let's see if that didn't help.
Are we back?
Ladies, can you hear us? No, they're going to have to sign back on, but they'll
sound
be able to
is
see
gone.
this after. Sound is on? No, their sound is gone. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Darla.
But now that I think about everything, because when Rich and Cindy sold their home in Florida, it sold almost immediately.
Wow.
They found the home in Delaware. They had everything all settled and moved in, and they loved it. And I thought to myself, that was part of God's plan for Rich. If Cindy had been down here, she'd have had to go through that all by herself. God takes care of his people, and
He sure does.
he took care of
Can
Rich.
you guys hear us?
Yeah,
We
we
can hear you.
hear
Yeah,
you.
we can't see you right now, but we can hear you.
And to be able to spend those last several months with the girls and the grandkids, I
Mhm.
am so I was against him. I didn't want him to move, but I am so glad he was able to
But it
just
makes sense
spend
now.
those
Yeah.
months. Yeah, it
Yeah,
does.
it does. Yeah.
Should we
But I
leave it
sure do.
back? How do you do that?
I just
don't
miss
know.
him. Damn it.
Yeah, I know. I know. And I didn't know him the way you guys did either. I knew him pretty much the way Jeannie did. But I am going to say that he and I had a
Oh.
conversation about my situation.
Okay.
We had a conversation about the fact
Should we
that,
even just
uh,
leave?
I two of my daughters don't talk to me, and that I can't see my granddaughter. And he said to me, these were his very words. He said to me, he said, "Don't worry about it." He said, "I know how you feel." He said, "I couldn't imagine not talking to my grandchildren." He said, "But don't worry about it." He said, "Because like same thing you said, there's a plan. There's a plan somewhere, and somewhere, somehow, some way, everything will play out the way it's supposed to play out." And he said to me, "Don't ever give up." And I never did, never did. And I still have, my heart is open. And it's a shame because things happen and, people separate. But, when you believe in the afterlife and you believe that there's a plan, there usually is a plan. And I just, want to tell the girls, I know they're going to rewatch this at some point because they're completely off right now. But, I just wanted to tell the girls that it was an honor knowing him. Okay, they're back again. Okay, here we go. Okay, I'm sure you're going to have to
Can you hear
rewatch.
us?
Yeah, you're going to have to rewatch the rest of this because we lost you there. We went into some final statements, but I wanted to say that he helped me a lot in one conversation I
message?
said that we had, and he was a complete special person. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And even though I knew him for a short period of time, it was more than an honor. And the wisdom that he had was unbelievable. And I think that's something that is important that people should never forget about him. And I don't know if
Sorry,
you
if
have,
you can hear us, we have no microphone or can hear.
you can't hear us at all. You can't hear us. No. Okay. Well, I'm sorry. I don't know what to do now. um,
Can't hear.
okay. Okay. We don't have anything that we can say to them. They can't hear us. I feel terrible. I don't want to end the podcast with them not on it,
I don't know.
but we could just keep talking until they come back. Maybe their voice
Technical
will work.
difficulties
Did we
Yes.
do
happen.
good?
We did good. Yeah, you did great. But I hope you can come back. It's funny because we can hear them sometimes, but apparently they can't hear us.
Yeah.
But anyway, I want to thank you guys, all of you, for coming on. I want to thank you for your
Yes.
words. I want to thank you for your kindness. I want to thank you because, in my opinion, Jeannie and I often talk about a family of choice. Sometimes you need a family of choice. Blood makes you related, but love makes you family. Okay.
Exactly.
And we have our own wrestling family as well. And we are going to do our best to get over there to be part of your wrestling family too.
Well, we
Because
hope you do.
it's all the same. Wrestling family is a wrestling family. It's all the same.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you don't know how great it is to have you guys on here to talk to us like this. And
Yes.
Joel, even you, as much as I don't like you, I'm so glad you came on.
Not a problem. I will be in Vegas in August. I already have the tickets. I will be there. And
Yes, you do have a ticket because I just typed it up.
Oh, there you go.
I look
Okay.
I look forward to seeing everybody out in Vegas.
I
Well,
got the email to get the tickets for it, so I just have to.
Hey, Joel, did you buy your ticket before Rich passed?
Yes.
Had he sent you the room pass key for the discount?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Also, we're going to wait a little bit because when it gets closer, believe it or not, when it gets closer to the date, the flights go down. Like right now, they're like $600
Yes.
round trip. But when it gets closer, for some reason, they go down. So we're going to wait until it gets closer, and we're going to, try to get together and come up there. We really want to come. It's just like I said, it's just a little difficult. But anyway, unfortunately, we're going to have to say goodbye without the girls. I don't know what's going on. But I want to thank Jennifer and Heather for coming on. Thank you for allowing us to do this podcast about your dad. I know you're going to rewatch it. We're going to drop tonight. And I'm asking everybody here, too, if you could please share it.
I will.
Because it's important. It's important to, get it out and let everybody know what kind of a person Rich was. So
And
we're going
the other
to
thing in honor of Rich is any fan out there, and I'm just a fan. I was never a wrestler or anything like that. I'm a member of Cauliflower Alley. Just go to caulifloweralleyclub.org. It is so easy. A year membership is $35 plus a couple PayPal fees or whatever. Or lifetime member, $400. And it's just an amazing organization. And go and do that for the love of wrestling, but also to honor Rich. Let's get the memberships up and going. Let's get them up and going.
Can you
Thank
girls
you,
announce
Gina.
the dates, please?
August 24th through the 26th.
Okay, now on the 23rd, which is a Sunday, are you guys still having the free wrestling show?
Yeah, isn't it?
That is correct.
Okay, so it'd be the 23rd, 24th, 25th, and 26th at that point, right?
Well, yeah, actually, the wrestling show is not affiliated with Cauliflower Alley.
Oh, okay, I got
That's
you.
why we don't advertise
Okay,
the date for it. But
I got you.
I think it will show up on Facebook in some spots.
Okay, okay.
But yes, there is a wrestling show on Sunday evening.
Okay. Also, when the services, I hope to God that we get to see everybody there, because Jeannie and I and Joel, I'm sure, will definitely be there. And I would love to be able to see you guys. And it's just a place where everybody is going to be a family, and that's important.
Right.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for coming. I can't thank you enough. It has been great. And please keep in touch because we love you. And we want to see you even more. And you're welcome to come on the show anytime you want to say something, anytime something good is happening. Cauliflower Alley comes up with something good or new. We want to advertise it. Absolutely.
When the awards get announced, of who's getting what and things like
when
that.
it's time,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. We'll have you right back on, no problem. Okay. Thank you so much.
Anytime. Love you
Good
all.
seeing you guys.
Love
Good
you
seeing
all.
you.
Seeing you. Love you.
Good
Love
seeing you,
you.
Joel, too.
Thank you. Love
Okay.
you.
Love you all.
Take care.
Take care.
Love everybody.
Bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.